What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Scream, the talk about it online, about delays and Morbius, and I think people are freaking out just a little bit too much. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be a prophet as if I know everything and anybody else knows nothing. That's not how it works. That's not how it ever worked. You have whatever opinion you want to have, and I totally respect that, but I just want to kind of bring in a couple extra things that maybe people aren't exactly thinking of. So what does this all have to do with? Well, yesterday, Morbius was delayed for like the 15th time. Realistically, I believe it was 7. This is the 7th delay for that movie. It's getting pathetic, and I actually don't mind the trailer, especially the second trailer for Morbius whatsoever. I actually think it could very well be a solid enough movie. But, you know, obviously all the stuff that's happened with it has happened with it. Okay. So it gets delayed. It gets delayed out of late January, January 28th or something it was supposed to be, and now onto April 1st, which is going to be a hilarious April Fool's joke when they delay it again. All right? That's that situation. Now, obviously, a lot of people are talking about Scream, okay? Things are picking up in the world, in the U.S., and I got to be careful, and I don't talk about this stuff, and I'm not going to go into, like, my political ideologies of it, but obviously stuff is happening with this stuff around the world that has been around for way too long at this point, right? And that's making people very worried about Scream. All right, I get it. I understand it. I have seen the articles. I believe like some theaters in Ontario are closing. I know around the world, I mean, every place is different. And also every place is going through a different, or they're in their own stage of what's going on right now, right? Some are further along than others. Some are reaching the peak right now. Some aren't. All that stuff, right? That's all happening. All right, cool, I guess. So look, if you're flat out just worried that like this stuff is going to get worse and it's going to result in, you know, movie theaters closing worldwide and Scream being pulled, you know, I'm not here to tell you that that's never going to happen, or I don't even fully believe. I mean, anything can happen. I will say, I do not agree with the idea of pulling this movie. I don't agree with the idea of locking down theaters or locking down pretty much anything, and I'll leave it at that. The rest of it we're not going to go into. But that's what I would say. But if you're worried about that, I understand it. But let me tell you a couple things about Morbius that I feel, you know, should calm you down. So Morbius, obviously, when it gets delayed, right, because it's 2 weeks after Scream, people flip out and they're like, holy dear God, like Scream comes out in 2 weeks. Are they too far into marketing to pull this thing? I think they are. I mean, they're all in to pull it. Do you know how much money they've spent? They've spent a lot of money on this marketing that they've been doing for the past month or two at this point, like heavily, right? To pull it and to move it to a further date, you're going to have to do all of this stuff again in a slightly different way, maybe a little bit less and just different, but you're going to be spending even more money. So now the budget, you know, I guess the behind-the-scenes budget continues to go up. So that's another reason why I just don't think it's a good idea, and I don't think they should do it. I am very strictly opposed to the idea of day and day, okay? A day and day, as we've seen from HBO Max pretty much every single time, except for, I believe, Godzilla versus Kong and maybe one or two others, pretty much kills the movie, at least movie theater-wise, making money. And then HBO Max, maybe that, or like for that situation. HBO Max obviously maybe makes money, but they don't ever disclose too heavily, you know, what happens there. So for Scream, would it make as much more if it came on streaming services the first day, or the day of the movie? I mean, you know, would I prefer to watch it online? I guess I don't have to buy the $50, you know, popcorn and drinks. But at the same time, you also have people that can watch it in different ways online that's not paying for it. And I'll just kind of leave that there. Wink, wink, right? You have that, and that can very much hurt a film, right? And I just also think the experience, by the way, just gets destroyed, considering it's just not the same watching at home versus theaters. All right. The Morbius thing I do want to talk about, though, is two different things. Number one, the first thing I said about it was, don't freak out. I don't believe they're running away from the stuff around the world. I think they're doing something else. Now, there's actually two different thoughts to that, which I'll talk about in a second. But my original theory was that, well, we know Michael Keaton said literally like a week or two before Spider-Man No Way Home came out, right? He said he was filming scenes for Vulture. Now, Vulture is only in one thing currently, and that's going to be Morbius, right? We know he's in it because of the trailer. So what does that mean? And he said in that, I think it was like a Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon or whatever interview, and he said he was going back to film in like a few days. So they were doing some form of add-on / reshoots for Morbius in the middle of December. and this movie comes out late January. So just thinking about that alone. And then you also have No Way Home that came out, and then you think, is there a way of getting a certain character, and I won't say too much more for spoilers, is there a way of getting a certain character into Morbius? Maybe. Now, I'm not saying that is the reason, but I fully believe at least part of this has to do with adding things / reshaping the movie / adding doing reshoots for it. Okay, 100%, I believe that. Also, then, you have people online, okay? Viewer Anon, he even posted this. I'll read his thing. I don't think so. Been wrong before, though. I was told Morbius moved to take advantage of the early April Fast and Furious type slot after No Way Home's success more than it's running away from the you-know-what. You had, I believe, I don't know his last name, but his first name's Brandon BD on Twitter. He does a lot of different interviews for movies and shows. He talked about it as well, that he also believes that at the most least likely thing would probably be adding a certain character, and then other things could just be adding it in general / not interfering with the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home's in the box office. So, and look, these people ultimately, can they sometimes be right? Can they sometimes be wrong? Sure, but in my opinion, that's more what it is. I think it's partially they're still working on it. I really think because of No Way Home, they're really gonna try to do as much as they possibly can with this movie as they can. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's up to snuff right now, but maybe it will be, by April. Or they're moving to a better spot. You know what I mean? Maybe, and I don't know if that necessarily makes sense, because late January is probably fine. February, you have the Uncharted movie, and I'm not a big movie guy. I'm sure there's other movies in February as well, but that's kind of the only big one. Now, once you get to March, you get to the Batman and stuff, that gets a little bit more dangerous. April, well, I don't really think I think Doctor Strange is in May, so I don't really think you're going to run up to any problems there, right? So, I mean, maybe you're in a better spot if you put it April 1st than where you put it now. Bottom line is, I don't believe it's to run away from the stuff around the world, and so I don't think Scream should either. Ultimately, I don't even know why we're talking about this. This is where I'll get a little political. Spider-Man No Way Home, I don't know if you've seen, but is making a lot of money. A lot of people are seeing it. Now, yes, it's a Spider-Man movie. It's one of the biggest movies of our time. I get that. But, all the excuses that Marvel made for Shang-Chi and Eternals and Black Widow, that everybody was so afraid to go outside. And I do think there are people that don't want to go to the theaters, and that's fine. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying the excuse for why movies didn't make money had always been the stuff around the world. But then when Spider-Man does insane, they praise it, that it's a huge box office success. But I thought you told us that the other movies failed, rightly so. It's fine they failed because people wouldn't go see it. But then Spider-Man, people go see it, and it's in December. It was in a worse time with the stuff around the world. So I don't it's all, in my opinion, theater and how they pretend some things do better than others. What I said on Twitter, what I've said to other people, my true belief is if Scream is good, people will go see it. I think the Scream community, I think the horror crowd. Now, am I saying it's going to make $1 billion? No. Can it make 100 to 150 million? Yes, it can. As long as the theaters are open. If the theaters are open and you want to go see it, go see it. If you don't want to go see it, that's fine. I'm not telling you have to, okay? By the way, though, please, for the love of God, if you are able to see this movie and you don't see it, and then you tell people for the first 3-4 weeks of the movie is out that they're not allowed to post spoilers online because you didn't see it, it's not exactly how the world works. So please, for the love of God, do not do that, or people are just going to ignore you, I think. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else, I have a Twitter. I have a second YouTube channel. I also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links for them all are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you all on the next video.